My name is Eden Beasley. I am a resident of the district and a teacher of the district. I'm going to address policy IIAC-R1, specifically how the restriction by greater age section can be easily misinterpreted and how the procedure for review section at the end of the policy should be amended to include an appeals process. At the December 6, 2023 board meeting, the school board discussed and voted on revising the policy pertaining to selection and reconsideration of materials. I was present at this board meeting and was optimistic at the changes that were being made. However, I do not think the policy is being used as the board intended. Sometimes it takes putting policy into place to realize that the policy in practice does not truly serve the purposes of the district. And this is not a failing on the school board's part. What will be a failing is not taking a good hard look at how the policy is being misused and making changes accordingly. My first concern is that we even have this policy at all. If parents can restrict what their individual student reads, and none of the books being challenged break state statutes or the law, then why are these reconsiderations being entertained? I encourage the board to look hard at this policy and if it is what is best for students, parents, and staff. My second concern is that administrators are not being transparent with teachers. After the first 5 books were restricted by the book review committee, no communication of those restrictions was sent out to teachers from administration. If teachers are not aware of restrictions, the decisions and the district administrators are opening the door for teachers to be ridiculed and reprimanded for decisions they had no part in and were not aware of. As an English teacher who directly works with some of the challenged books, hearing about the restrictions from a colleague and not my administrator is a major lapse in district communication. This was my first encounter with administrators not being transparent and supporting teachers. To this day, I have not been informed of book administrations by my administrator unless I asked for it. After the second book list came out with 24 more restrictions, my colleagues and I were confused about how the policy was being implemented. We requested a meeting with the book review committee at the beginning of March to get clarification. We were told by the book committee that they were using websites to see if the books were appropriate. These websites included BookLooks, which is not a credible source. We teach our students about how to gauge credibility, so why is BookLooks being used as a resource? We were also told that the books were not being read in their entirety. I empathize with the book committee. I was on the first attempt at a book committee, and it is time-consuming and emotionally taxing to try to make decisions that are going to make everyone happy. However, policy IIAC-R1 under the restrictions by greater age section number 1 says that the material must be taken as a whole. If the books are not being read in their entirety, then this policy is not being enforced correctly, and all decisions based on sections and not the entire book should be thrown out. At our meeting with the book committee, Hannah Pyatt, Tanya O'Boyle, Jennifer Rain-Stickett, and myself voiced our concerns with how these restriction decisions were being made. And we asked Dr. Robinson if we could submit a list of books to the school board whose restrictions we would like to be reconsidered. We were especially concerned about Missouri Gateway nominee books, national award-winning books, and books on the AP list that had been restricted. Dr. Robinson told us to email him our list, and he would take the list to the school board. We emailed him our list of 10 books the same day as that meeting on March 6th. My second encounter with administrators not being transparent and supporting teachers then followed. With the board election in April, my colleagues and I did not want to bombard the board or Dr. Robinson with our request, so we waited, trusting that our request was taken to the board. On May 7th, having not heard any updates from Dr. Robinson, I emailed him requesting an update on the reconsideration of these books' restrictions or a plan of action on how they would be reconsidered. I did not receive a reply to my email. Again, I was optimistic that progress had been made, as Dr. Robinson had told us in our meeting that he would take our list to the school board. 2 weeks later, on May 21st, I sent a follow-up email requesting a meeting with Dr. Robinson for an update on the 10 books we submitted for reconsideration of restrictions. Dr. Robinson responded that the book committee had made their decision, they would not be reviewing the books again, and that we were welcome to address the board. He did not address my request for a meeting. I was confused because at our meeting in March, Dr. Robinson had told us that he would take our list of books to the school board. If he had changed his mind, a courtesy email informing us of this would have been appropriate. I had been optimistic and understanding up to this point, but plain and simple, my colleagues and I were lied to at our March meeting. This does not make me feel valued as an employee. It is clear from this interaction that my education and training are not respected. In conclusion, I urge the school board to reflect on if policy IIAC-R1 is needed. If so, per the policy, the books being reviewed need to be taken as a whole, which has not been done by the book review committee. Since policy hasn't been followed, I call into question whether these book restrictions can be implemented. I would also like to request an appeals process be put into place so those with credible concerns about the restrictions can request that restrictions be reconsidered. Thank you for your time.